If you've ever posted once, disappeared for 3 weeks, then wondered why no one's engaging, you're not alone.
Today we're breaking down why consistency beats perfection every single time and the science that proves it.
Here's the thing, algorithms love predictability. The more you show up, the more platforms show you off.
And it's not just algorithm, your audience is human. They crave rhythm, routine, and reliability. Think about fitness. One workout doesn't make you strong, right? It's about showing up consistency day after day that builds strength. Social media works the same way. One post isn't going to create connection or trust. Your audience needs to see you regularly.
Yeah, I mean, hello. If one yoga class or one Pilates class made you, did my fitness influencer, then everyone would do it.
Reached my, completed my rings of the week.
Exactly.
Just one workout.
Exactly. Consistency matters in life and in social media. I mean, think about it. Repetition builds recognition and trust. A lot of these brands that we see on TV and their commercials, we hear it all the time. One that just comes to mind randomly is Nationwide is on your side. Like, how many times have we heard that in the car, on TV, on a billboard? Yeah, I don't even use Nationwide, but I know Nationwide is on your side because it's repetition. Same thing with content. People start to expect to hear from you, and that familiarity really makes them more likely to engage, to trust that you'll be there, you're not going to disappear. And from a marketing perspective, research says, and I actually think this number is way higher now. This research is a little bit older, but it says that you need 7 to 10 touch points when you're reaching someone before somebody actually buys. I think today with oversaturation, it's got to be up to at least 20 to 30 touch points because we're that heavily ingrained in ads.
There's such saturation that we see. It has to be more than that.
Correct.
But what was I going to say in terms of consistency is like, think of your favorite show. It drops every Tuesday. Every Wednesday, it's a podcast.
Exactly.
So, once you are consistent that way, you're also building trust, which is a huge factor.
Yeah, people look forward to it.
Consumers, yes.
And, your goal on social media isn't to go viral once, it's to stay visible long enough to matter. I have a lot of clients who have gone viral before, and they didn't get clients, they didn't get business from those viral posts. They got engagement, comments, likes, but they're getting more of their business from those regular daily posting and those regular weekly series, things that they're like, maybe I only got 300 views, but you got a client from it. So it's not necessarily about going viral. It's about having that consistency.
And grasping that moment when you are viral. We've seen it before when clients' videos or just in overall their social media content is really succeeding in that moment, is really following up on that. So maybe we're pushing the calendar, and in that moment, we're really pushing it out to make sure that we're grasping all the attention that it's getting.
Yes. And if those people fall off, then they're just not part of that audience.
Yeah, that's okay.
Exactly.
Let's talk about the dangers of ghosting your audience because, yes, it's a real thing. You can post for a week, disappear for a month, and then wonder why your engagement dropped.
Yeah, a famous phrase we use is not to post and ghost.
Post and ghost is
yes, literally, we use it all the time. We said it on this podcast plenty of times before, but just to post something and disappear is like holding up a billboard or holding up a sign on the sidewalk and running away when someone goes to ask you a question or wants to like your post and engage. You want it to be a conversation.
Yeah. So for starters is missed opportunities. When you do so, your followers forget about you. They stop paying attention. They maybe even unfollow you, which I know I'm guilty of doing.
Yes.
So, because why am I giving you the attention if there's nothing coming on our side,
Exactly. And for example, a restaurant I went to yesterday, they hadn't posted on social media in a while. And I was like, one last post I saw was they have a happy hour, Tuesday through Friday. We went yesterday. It was a Tuesday. We were ready to go and it was closed. And it's one of those things of like, what? They didn't post it anywhere. The website hours are all old. And I was like, are they even open? They haven't posted on social media.
Exactly.
Maybe it's time to unfollow them.
And in that way, what they did post, they should have updated it with an update that we're no longer open on Tuesdays because now you lost their trust.
Exactly. And once that trust is gone, it's hard to get back because social media isn't a one and done game. It really is a relationship.
Exactly. So, and the second part of that, of the dangers of ghosting your audience is the algorithm side of it. If you disappear, your reach suffers. And we've seen it before, and we unfortunately continue to. Which means fewer impressions, slower growth, and suddenly the content you have been posting is being seen by nobody once you do get back on a consistent schedule.
Yeah, it's like throwing a party and forgetting to send the invites and nobody shows up. You have all the tools, you have the birthday cake, you have
the
pizza, but then there's nobody there because you didn't invite anyone there. And when we look at impressions and reach, like you mentioned, the numbers don't lie. And the start stop posting cycle really makes you look unprofessional. It looks like you only show up when you have free time, when you need clients, when you're not busy. An example I know is in real estate. I feel like a lot of realtors, when they're so busy, they fall off on their social media because they have all these deals, a lot of stuff going on. And then when it comes to, their quiet season, they want to post all the time. And it's like, no, you have to keep nurturing that and building that as you go. You're missing out. It's almost like I can tell, like, you need a sale or you need a deal right now because you're looking thirsty.
That's what I was going to say. We are just also constantly pushing down sales down your followers' throats. It's just not engaging or entertaining. You really have
Desperate.
to cover all funnels of your marketing strategy, and it just salesy. It just looks desperate.
And I'm really not holding back, calling it thirsty, desperate, but it's true.
Calling out a real estate agent.
Yes. And, the kicker is rebuilding momentum costs twice as much energy as maintaining it.
I mean, think of it as when you're consistently going to the gym and then you fall off and you get back to the gym. It's twice as hard. And, sometimes to lose the weight, it's twice as hard.
Exactly. Okay. So how do you actually stay consistent when life happens? I mean, this is something we talked about in episode 7 of the podcast. And it's batching content. You can record multiple videos in a day. You could edit multiple posts in a day. You can have one day that's your content day and it lasts you for a month or a couple of weeks or just that week. You don't have to stop what you're doing every day to post.
Yeah, I mean, posting on the fly is just exhausting and it's not really strategic. You might be posting, 2 of the same kind of videos back to back when you can really stretch it out.
Yes. And when you're building consistency, you don't want to burn out. Same thing we talked about going to the gym. We're going to pull that one exactly again. If you're doing 2 a days or 3 a days, you're going to burn yourself out and then not want to go to the gym for weeks.
Exactly.
You're going to be miserable. So same thing with content. So when it comes to creating all this content, you don't want your brain to be fried. So we always say start with content pillars. We talked about that with many guests actually. And those content pillars are just topics that you rotate so you never run out of ideas. We also talked about in an earlier episode, AI. And you can use AI and ChatGPT to make your content pillars. Yes. And then you always have an endless amount of topics to roll through.
So, I mean, some content pillars is brand awareness, key services, about us. So you don't want to do 2 posts back to back or often like 2 to 3 posts back to back of brand awareness. You want to mix it to brand awareness, services,
about the team,
about you,
about the product, maybe the location.
So if you film 2 brand awareness videos back to back, you most likely will schedule it back to back. So that's why you want to really, take the time to schedule the batch content.
Exactly. Another example for content pillars is we work with hotels. The hotel might have a breakfast area. They might have a gym. They might have a pool. They have suites. Talk about the location and maybe near the airport. We're not going to talk about the pool. They have 3 posts in a row. Or that they're near the airport and have a shuttle, 3 posts in a row. We're going to break those pillars up, but at least we know every month when we're creating content for the hotels, we have our base of what to work off of and then go from there.
Another key strategy we like to focus on is repurposing. So one blog can equal multiple posts. We can pull the information from these posts and use it for the caption.
Yeah, or for stories.
Regular posts. Same for stories or even for an email thread. I mean, there's just so many ways you can repost just one content, which is a blog.
Literally, or a podcast episode like this. Or one episode, you can have so many pieces of videos. And now you're not burning yourself out creating content because you have one long form piece and then you're making multiple pieces of content from it.
Yeah. Or like, for example, like construction. From one construction site, there's probably 20 photos, but we're not posting them 20 back to back. We can even post it a year later. It's a great project.
Yes, you can repurpose it.
Still want to share it.
Look back at it, definitely. And then another, like we talked about, is using AI tools. You can generate ideas. You can brainstorm. You could talk about, this is my business. What do I post on social media? You don't have to burn yourself out to be consistent. You don't have to, be up till 3, 4 a.m. doing your social media every day. Also, you just hire us. But exactly. You can be consistent using these tools.
And you can use AI correctly,
Yes.
So next thing you want to focus on is consistent posting. Doesn't mean posting daily. You want to create a rhythm for your audience who they can count on.
Correct. And I was having this conversation earlier because I had a potential client reach out to us and they said they want 30 posts a month, 1 post a day. And their industry is insurance. And I was like, look, it's not the most exciting topic, And I would rather see from you a strong post, 3 to 4 or even 5 posts a week that are really strong, informative. Maybe they're videos that people can look forward to, but they're not getting bombarded. I don't think anyone wants to get
No.
bombarded about insurance. Even if you talk about lifestyle or other tips, 7 posts a week, being there every day is just a lot. Like, who talks to someone 7 days a week on the phone? Maybe you have somebody you do, but you're not going to talk to all your friends every day that way. Same thing with social media, but you might be excited of like, oh my God, what's Sophia up to?
Yeah.
And then it pulls people in.
You want to like create buzz, like you don't want
Exactly.
to be too available.
Yes, yes. And think about your favorite
And
podcasts
also,
or TV shows. Like, I mean, for example, a lot of people don't like Love Island because there were so many episodes, but people will do The Bachelor because they know it's only one a week.
but Love Island is just for a short period of time. And we all
Correct.
get burned out in those 2 months.
That's the point. The consistency is almost hard to
Exactly.
be there because it works for them in the sense of it's a short amount of time. But if they did that year round, everyone, the viewership would fall off.
But think of like a show that comes out once a week. You're so excited for the next show to come out. So that's what you
Exactly.
want to create on your social media platform.
Yes. And you definitely just want to pick the pace that you can keep up with. So you don't want to go aggressive. I tell a lot of clients, maybe start smaller. If it's 2 times a week, it's 3 times a week, that's great. And then you go from there and make it sustainable. You do not want to, go full force and then have to back off and away.
Yeah. I mean, I have my friend, she's starting off her own brand and she has 5 great posts to come out. And I'm like, why don't you schedule it? Like, don't post 2 to 3 times a day and then you're going to ghost us.
Yes. Yes.
Or
Because
the
now you're
next
scrambling for content or you're burnt out.
Exactly. Quality over quantity, always.
Definitely. Consistency doesn't just boost numbers, it really builds your reputation. We talk about reputation a lot in social media because there are so many brands, so many companies out there that what's going to make you stand apart, it is your reputation. I know for us at Goat Social Media, there's so many social media agencies out there, but people know like, oh, I've seen you guys or you've worked with this client, or I've seen you at General Provision in Fort Lauderdale,
Uh-huh.
or like I've met Kassie and Sofia and everyone loves them. I want to work with them. It's that reputation that sets it apart. And that's what's going to help that consistency as well. It's going to show that the reputation sticks. It's not just a good reputation in season, not just good when it's the winter time, just fall off in the summer. Exactly.
So, I mean, we have to avoid burning ourselves out and really deliver and plan for our clients in that way.
Yes. Yes.
The brands that win aren't always the loudest, are the ones who keep showing up.
They do. And it's showing up authentically. I think that's a conversation we have a lot with clients. And we had this earlier today
Yes.
where people are trying to find that balance of showing up, being there, but also how can they offload it? So are they hiring a social media agency? Are they hiring someone overseas? We talked about that. I knew someone who hired a social media manager in the Philippines because they felt like, okay, we can get more for our money and have a virtual assistant do it. But they were missing out on the tone of the American culture. Like I remember there was a
Yes.
sale post and had nothing to do with horses, by the way, nothing to do with country. And the post said like, giddy up, there's a sale this weekend because they don't know American
really apply.
culture.
Yeah.
So when you're showing up and being there and being consistent, it still needs to be authentic. It still needs to be true to you. And it still needs to have the right brand voice. All these aspects go together. One doesn't just trump over the other.
Yeah. And I've also seen in terms of authenticity, I've onboarded brands before where they have all of their social media fully generated by AI. And the downfall of this is that the graphics weren't, I mean, it was graphic heavy. So there
Yes.
was and it was a nonprofit organization. So they weren't showing really the good of what they were doing. It was all just brand awareness, services, know about them, know life behind the screen, and it shows. And that's why they left that platform and came for a social media agency because they needed that human touch. And when they pulled the reports and even onboarding them, you could really see the downfall.
Yeah, and it reminds me of one of our long-term clients, gonna be almost 6 years now, Camp Hill Foundation. So they work with all these different communities, Camp Hill communities throughout North America,
Mhm.
but the foundation raises money for them. But the foundation themselves, they're taking all these grants and they're making all this happen, but not necessarily are they always out in the communities. So we're taking content from the work that they're building the money and fundraising and doing this legwork, we're finding content from the communities of what they're benefiting from and then sharing it on social media because it's building the reputation of, oh, this is where the dollars go.
Exactly.
Now I can see, happy faces. I can see a new gazebo built, a new kitchen being built.
The smile on their
Exactly.
their faces.
It matters.
Yeah, I mean, I always say Instagram specifically started as a visual app, so that's what people want to see is real images. Of course, graphics are great, but they shouldn't be your sole pillar of content.
Yes. And if you're going to use the graphics, then incorporate realness into it. Don't let it be so AI, so stock photo heavy.
Like services, homepage, that's what your website's for.
Exactly. So this week, I want you to ask yourself, what's the minimum posting rhythm that you can commit to, whether it be for your business, your personal brand, or even just your own social media? And can you stick with it?
And let us know. Screenshot this episode and tag at You Heard It Here podcast and share your consistency goal.